Hey Reefers, welcome back to another video from Reef Drama. Today we're going to carry on with our aquarium maintenance schedule, which is weekly. So within the weekly scheduling tasks, we've got the water change, we've also got topping up of the RO water, and we've also got water testing as well. So that's all in this week's video. So if you're unsure of any of the processes, then carry on watching, and hope you enjoy the video. See you in a bit. Okay, so water change then. We're all set up here. I'm just going to now go out to the garage where we will need to just check the salinity and obviously make sure as well as a final check that the water is up to the right temperature. So let's have a quick look at that first. So there's our temperature gauge. So that's perfect. It's up to the right temperature. I've already got the pump in here, as you can see at the bottom. So I just need to turn off the that one, which is the heater, and also turn off this one, which is the power head. So that's now stopped. As you can see, the pump is in the bottom. So let's just take a quick check of the salinity, and then once we've done that, we're then ready to rock and roll. But always double check your temperature as well as your salinity before you put it into the tank. It's very important. There we go. So that's the one I'm using. So we'll give that a check now and make sure it's at the right salinity. Well, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but I just want to see whether you can, oh, there we go. Oh, move it around a little bit. There we go. So that's what I'm looking at, or that's what you look at when you're looking through your refractometer. So it just tells me whether it's at the correct salinity or not. Oh, I'm glad that worked. Okay, so lid's back on. Quick final check of my taps. So yep, to the waste, this one is open, and then to the pump is closed.
So that's fine, and then we basically just follow the trail about 50-60 feet back in through to the kitchen and back to the tank. So let's pick that up in a sec.
Alright then, so you've all seen this process before, and if you haven't, I have done a full video on this new way of doing my water changes, and I'll put that up in the corner, or is it this corner? I can't ever remember, but it's one of the corners. And I'll put that video up there so you can obviously always click onto that. But basically, water change, got this hanging over the tank, pipe goes out, so it was going to drain it first. I then go out, change a few taps around, plug the extension cable in, which is then powering the pump, and then that basically just pumps all the water back into the tank again. Very easy, sit down and just wait for it to happen. So start the process off. Obviously I need to shut down the pump and let this tank water drain down, so let me do that now. Pumps off, turn off the wave maker, so they're all off, and turn off skimmer.
Okay.
If you don't turn the skimmer off, as you probably already know, with that amount of water going into your sump level will rise up and the skimmer will go mental. So always make sure you turn the skimmer off before you allow all that water to drain down into the sump area. So I'm going to let this settle. Once this is settled, I'm then just going to start the siphoning. So dead easy, and then that will pretty much be the start of the water change. So I'll come back to you when we're filling it back up again. Alright then, so that's all the water drained out. I've shut the taps off, swapped them over outside, just about to plug it in. So that will switch on the pump in the garage, in the saltwater bin. There we go, there's the water coming out. Now my wave maker has already kicked off again, so it only has a 10-minute pause on that. So I've already stopped that. The return pump has got as much pause pretty much as you want on it. I usually have it set for 25 minutes when I do a water change. So that's obviously still off. So that's now just going to fill back up again, and we'll pick up the camera once that's all done, move on to the next process of the weekly maintenance schedule. Right then, well, as you can see, that's now filling back up again. I'm just keeping an eye on the sump while it does it. So that's it. That's very, very easy. It's really handy actually that this Reef top lids, the little feeding port, that my system actually goes through it, because otherwise it would be a bit of a hassle trying to take off this lid like all the time, but I can just literally lift this off, pop it in, and take the water out, put the water back in again. Very, very easy. I can also lift this off and I can use my hand of God sort of grabbing tool, and I can pick up all of the shells that Piney leaves all over the place from when he's eating his cockles. So that's pretty much the water change done now. Once this is filled back up again and the sump is running at its right level, I'll be able to turn the skimmer back on, and then that will be phase 1 of the weekly maintenance schedules for this particular tank. Now, it's just worth noting as well that obviously there will be some water left in the bottom of that saltwater bin that's in the garage, and that's fine. What I do with that is I then just take that out, pump it out, put it into a 25 litre container, and then that's brought indoors, and then I use that for whenever I have to replace things like my Rowaphos in the reactor, because obviously you need to then, you know, drain that through, and you're wasting a bit of your salt water. So as you're draining it through, obviously I've then got some spare, always got some spare salt water to put back in again. But that will be coming up in another further video that's going to be part of this series, so stay tuned for that. But as far as we go at the moment, this is now all done. Skimmer can be turned back on again because the sump is now at its right level and all working, and everything has notified me to tell me that it's all happy as well and back up and running. So as I mentioned before, next thing now is going to be the topping up of the RO tank. That's very easy, very straightforward, but we'll get straight into that. See you in a bit. So this is next now, just to top up the RO tank. Now, because I've got the lid and I do actually have one half of the inserts permanently on, which is usually the side where Piney is, to sort of prevent him from splashing all over the place, that has reduced dramatically the amount of top up water that has to go back into the tank. But even so, I still like to top it back up again for the beginning of every week. So very, very easy. All I do with this, and I do see quite a lot mentioned on social media with regards to, you know, how can you get your auto top up water out of the 25 litre containers. You know, siphon it, you have to stand it up on something maybe, and then siphon it back in and all that sort of stuff. So all I've got is a caravan water pump that's connected to a bench unit, a 12 volt bench unit round here, and I've got my pipe, so I just pop the pipe on, drop that into here, and then it's just a matter of turning this on. And that will now start to fill up my RO container. So very easy. I've got this little, I think it was for an iron actually, to fill the water up into an iron. So I've just got that sits down at the side of the tank, and that's what the little pump sits into. So that keeps that nice and tidy. And then this hose just sits in this jug, and that's away in my little cupboard. So while this is filling up, I just let you know that the next thing then that's going to be that we're going to be doing as far as the weekly maintenance is concerned is, of course, now doing the water tests. Now I have a phosphate for the Rowaphos Hannah checker, and I've also got a KH Hannah checker, both of which now are out of powder, so I need to re-buy some more powder for that. So I think what I'm going to do is, it's a good excuse to go to my local LFS and I'll get them to do the tests on the water for me while I'm waiting for the powder to come through. But that's done now. So easy, so quick. Pop that down there. And that is another job done. Right then, well, as you can see, I've got to the LFS and I've got my water to get tested. So what we're going to do is going to head in now, get that done, and we'll see the results in a moment. But it's worth noting that I've also done a video on my local LFS, so I'll put that up in the top corner. And what you can do with that is you can obviously have a look, and then you can see the actual store, all the different corals and fish and everything else that they've got, and dry goods. But certainly a great place to come if you're in Birmingham, in Selly Oak, then highly recommend it. But as you can see, Angel Aquatics. So let's go on in, see you in a bit. Alright then, so results are in. I don't know where to stand because we've got a bright window behind me, but the results are in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and then we can have a look together. But it looks like the nitrate's a little bit too high, but let's have a look. Right, so there we go. So all written out for us. Looking good, looking good. Nitrates, I say 80. That's high. I've got to sort that out. I think that's down to the new pellets that I'm feeding the fish, so definitely need to sort that out. Phosphate good. Calcium 500, maybe a touch high, but not too bad. KH 8.3 and good salinity. So happy with that. So what we do is I think I'm going to pick up maybe 1 or 2 things from here, and then we'll take them home, get them acclimated into the tank, and that will probably be in another video. So see you when we get home. Alright then, so we're back home again now, and I guess the question that you're waiting for the answer for is, did I get something from my LFS? Well, of course, there it is down there being acclimated, drip acclimated. So you'll see that coming up in a future video. Also as well, we forgot to get the magnesium done when I was at the LFS, so that has been done now, and that turned out to be 1380. So all the other parameters were pretty much bang on. The only one that we need to sort out is the nitrates, but I think that's down to, let me grab it. I think that is down to starting to feed these these pellets before I was feeding flake, and then of course I got the new lid behind me, and the auto feeder wouldn't then put the flake through the mesh, so I had to go for pellets. Went for these, and where my nitrates had got down to 5, this then started to bring them back up to 50, then it went to 60, and now we're on, what was it, 80 or 90. So these are going in the bin, and I'm gonna have to find something else. And yeah, pretty happy with those results. Well, there you have it then, guys. That concludes the weekly maintenance video. I even had time to remove the old cockle shells as well after Piney's finished with them. So that's all done, all nice and clean, and we'll be moving on to the next one, which will be fortnightly. But if you haven't seen the previous video, which was the 3 to 5 day maintenance routines, then you'll find it right here. And that's pretty much the end of the video for this week. So thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you've liked the video, and hit that subscribe button. Press the little bell, that way you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. And remember, the next one that you'll see in this series will be fortnightly. So stick around for that. That will probably be in a couple of weeks' time, but it will be around at some point soon. See ya, bye-bye.
Easy come, easy go.